Hello and welcome to today's episode, and today we're going to be diving in deep with working with the violet flame. Now, you may or may not be familiar with the concept of working with the violet flame. It is something that pretty much all my students, clients who work with me for significant points of times, I recommend to them because I think it is one of the most powerful and yet also easiest tools we have here for us as humans at this time going through spiritual evolution. Now, I have been working with the violet flame for many, many years, and it is something that has profoundly changed my life. When we're working with violet flame, it's a deep clearing tool. It's clearing soul karmic contracts, karmic relationships, karmic debris, and lower detrimental energy that is no longer serving us. It becomes a complete revitalization and transmutation of our being. The violet flame also ties really deeply into Saint Germain. We're going to be touching on that, but I'm going to do a separate episode diving deeper into Saint Germain. Today, we're really going to be focusing on how you can begin working with the violet flame, why you need to be working on with the violet flame. In particular, if you are intuitive, if you're an empath, it's a fantastic tool that I really believe we all need to be working with. Now, when it comes to the violet flame, I started working with it. I think I was around 17 when I first discovered it, touched on it, and I wasn't working with it that much at that time. I really actually deeply started working with it when I was about 19, and at this point I was doing daily violet flame meditations, visualizations, and I was also doing mantras, a lot of mantras, decrees. And at this time of 19, my life was feeling a little bit stagnant, a little bit unsure of what was unfolding, of what was coming in. And I really dedicated it to my spiritual work, to shifting and being committed to myself on a spiritual level. So I was working with a violet flame every single day, and it did create really big shifts in my life that came in the next couple of years. And I really look back at that period and I'm like, the violet flame helped me shift so many things, right? It really helped me a lot, especially being so young and having used it. And it's something now when I come across someone who has a karmic contract, is having repeated soul lessons over and over again. So you're noticing the same cycle with someone in a relationship, or their energy is not doing really well, it's not healthy at all. That's when I recommend the violet flame the most, and that's when I really feel it can be the most helpful as well. Let's talk about the violet flame and kind of a little bit of a theory of it. Now, the violet flame is connected to the violet ray, okay? So that's what there's a spectrum. And you might have heard of the concept of the 7 rays. It was originally channeled by Alice Bailey, and she has a book, The 7 Rays, you can go and find and read as well. One of them is the violet ray, and each of the rays has its own sacred flame. Now, as time has gone on, we've channeled more rays, and as humanity has evolved, the need for more rays has come into. Each one of these rays has a sacred flame, and the violet ray has a violet flame. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the theory around the 7 rays, but I do want you to know that everybody on a soul level, body level, emotional level, we have connections to certain rays, right? So for example, your body might be of the red ray, your soul might be of the violet ray. So it's very interesting when we actually start to look a little bit deeper into that and see what rays we connect to personally. But that's not the purpose of today. Today's purpose is really teaching you and showing you how you can start with the violet flame. So violet flame is this really powerful frequency, and it's a transmutational frequency, right? That is the core part of it. The violet flame is really connected to Saint Germain. You might be familiar with him. He's an ascended master, and he's really supporting us in the Aquarian age. So you might know that recently we went through this big shift, the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. Part of this shifting, it's almost like there's a custodian for each age, right? That is supporting us. And in the Piscean age, we had Jesus. Jesus, the Ascended Master, was very strongly, energetically supporting us and working with us. And as we move into this Aquarian age, we actually have Saint Germain working with humanity a lot. He is really supporting humanity so much in this new age. So if you're not actually working with Saint Germain, I highly recommend that you do start and you just start calling him. And we're going to do another episode just on Saint Germain. So I definitely recommend plugging into that as well. So Saint Germain is ascended master, and he worked with alchemy and he worked with the violet flame. And one of the things that we're shifting as a collective, as humanity, is our concept of karma is slightly shifting. So for a long time, we've had karma as what I do to others is what I receive, and some people say like the negative aspect of that is karma and the positive aspect of that is dharma. But essentially it's what you put out, you receive back. And the problem is that people could get stuck in karmic cycles and actually not be able to progress because they'd be looping in these karmic cycles. And so what the violet flame actually allows you to do is clear that karma, clear it on an energetic point so that you integrate the lesson without having to loop through it over and over and over again. This is a really profound and powerful shift for humanity, for all of us, and an incredible tool for us to be working with and using. So we've got this tool at our disposal to be working with karma and to be shifting our energy. The other thing that the violet flame does that's really powerful is it is transforming of your energy. Like at a subatomic level, it clears and shifts all the things. So when someone really needs an intense clearing, the violet flame really works well to deal with, because no matter what it is, what level it is, whether it's like emotional, mental, physical, soul level, karmic level, if it's attachments, if it's cords, diseased energy, psychic attack, the violet flame is going to get it, right? So of all the clearing techniques you're using, which there are so many out there which are awesome, I highly recommend trying out the violet flame for a significant period of time. I work with the violet flame every day. For me, it's just a constant. One of the main ways that I actually work with it is as a protection, right? So when I talk about protecting my energy field, and I'm very, very sensitive, and there was a time where it was so debilitating to me to the point where I really struggled to walk, go out places to work. I worked briefly when I was 18. I worked as an optometrist, and just dealing with people every single day, at an optometrist clinic, dealing with people every single day, I didn't know how to deal with it. And I just remember I was tired and emotional all the time, and I would just come home and I'd want to escape and just be, I would eat food and I would detach and watch stuff because I just felt like I need to recover from being around humans and other people. Now, obviously, that's not a great way to live. I do have a separate episode on my podcast, Light Leaders, where I go into empaths. So if that is something that you are struggling with, I highly recommend that because I give you all the tips and techniques to work with it. Being embraced as an empath, and I'm really good with being around a lot of people a lot of time and seeing clients, and I don't have those issues anymore. But I am very careful and protective of my energy field. And that is something that I will say, as you do put out more work, you become more well known for your work, you have more people perceiving and reading your work, you need to be able to protect it from what people are sending to you. Protect any energetic attack, psychic attack that people are sending to you subconsciously or consciously. And a lot of people are actually subconsciously pushing away being known for their work because they are subconsciously scared of the energy that they're going to receive when they're putting themselves out there and knowing that they won't be able to take care of it. And this is where the violet flame really helps me. So I put a violet shield of light around me every single day. I put it around my home as well, around my car as well. And part of the reason why I use a violet flame, and I do use other shields, I will absolutely use a golden and a white, and all that is really wonderful. But the reason why I use violet is because it transmutes it. It doesn't just stop it and protect me. It actually transmutes it. So it's whatever negative energy is being sent my way or is wanting to attach to me or whatever else, it's being transmuted and it shifts the energy of it. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. That's such a beautiful tool to have. And I find it a really powerful protection. I'd say more than a lot of other protection methods I've worked with. Now, I do tie that into other things, when I really want to make my energy invisible. And this is the only time I really do this is where I'm somewhere where the energy is really, really dense, or I know I'm going to be if somebody has an entity attachment that I need to clear, I don't want my energy to be out there, to be open. So I really rarely do this, but it's just more when I'm have an awareness that I'm going to be dealing with dense energy. I will actually place a shield of mirrors reflecting outwards around my energy, and then over the top of that, the violet flame. And that, like, it feels like an invisibility cloak, and then I know I'm still transmuting it with the violet flame. So that's one of the ways that I work with the violet flame, kind of like on an ongoing basis. But then let's say like I want to clear myself and I deeply want to clear my energy, and I have my own methods that I use for shifting things and moving things through. But I think such a powerful one that is so easy is to actually call upon the violet flame and visualize it moving through every single cell in your body, and it's just going to clear whatever you want to clear. You can work with the violet flame, and it doesn't just have to be you. It can be your home, it can be relationships, it can be crystals, and I'm going to cover all of that and go into that a little bit deeper. If you're ever feeling like there's stuff that just doesn't shift, no matter how much work you do on it, it's actually a really good indicator that there might be some deeper karmic stuff to work through. Now, when we're working with the violet flame, I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can use it for healing, for manifestation, for spiritual growth, for psychic ability, all the things that we really want to be progressing and experiencing here as light workers and starseeds. And the violet flame was gifted to us as a tool for us to use. So definitely incorporating into your daily ritual, and I'm even going to be providing some meditations for you you'll be able to find on my podcast that go into working with the violet flame for clearing and daily processes as well. So working with the violet flame, let's first start talking about something that I know comes up for a lot of people is karmic relationships, right? Because we have karmic relationships, and then we will also have divine life partners. We have soulmate connections. There are all these different kinds of connections when it comes to relationships. Now, your karmic relationship is very different from a soulmate relationship. A karmic relationship is because there's something from a previous lifetime that wasn't learned, that wasn't integrated. Maybe there needed to be a lesson, a forgiveness. Something didn't go through, and it is you need to go through it again in this lifetime. It's another reason why it's so important for you to be like healing your past relationships in this lifetime, because you don't want to be having to deal with that in the next lifetime, right? Because you might have previous lifetime relationship stuff coming up right now, and it will most likely come up as repeated cycles. So your karmic partners will be coming to you and repeating a pattern that you might see over and over and again. For example, the pattern of abandonment, which after a certain amount of time, you'll find the partner just abandons you and suddenly, just like that, turns around and goes, I don't want to be with you, I'm not interested, and just disappears on you after months or years. And you're just going, why is this happening? Like, this has happened to me 4 times. That's a perfect example of karmic relationships happening to teach you a karmic lesson from a previous lifetime. If you're experiencing something like that, and it can be much smaller, right? It doesn't have to be like that in a big way. It can be a much smaller pattern. We need to clear the karma that you have around this. So when we have karmic partnerships show up, they can feel really intense. They can feel like we're supposed to be here, but it's not a soulmate connection. And unless you've experienced a soulmate connection, and you know, it can be really easy to actually like mix them up and confuse them, because karmic relationships can feel really deep as well. But they are for a short time. And that, you know, some soulmate relationships, they are also for a short time. There are people who have 3-10-year soulmate relationships with different soulmate connections, right? Because when we talk about soulmate relationships, it's on a soul level. There's a soul connection there. What I really recommend, if this is something that you're focusing on manifesting or calling in, the best thing you can do is ask for your divine life partner. This is someone who is your soulmate, but also is here for you for building out your life, right? So everything that you're here to do with your purpose work, build your life up, that's your divine life partner. And I wanted to give an example. Daryl is my divine life partner. I manifested him very early in my life, and the signs started to show up why he was my divine life partner versus just a karmic relationship. Because when we first got together, he was, he came to my channeling events. That's how we actually first met. And when we first started dating, he was obsessed with my channeling. he would ask me to trans channel for him constantly. And so I was already channeling a lot, but now I had someone who every couple of days was like, hey, let's trans channel, coming up with these incredible, like Daryl is the best at asking questions to higher beings. Because he watches all these shows on Gaia, right? So he knows and has awareness of these great questions. So he's always asking questions and really pushing me and showing me, wow, like this is how long I can channel for. This is how deep I can go. And my channeling abilities like skyrocketed being with him. Like that was his gift to me. So I was able to be better and more aligned with my purpose work because of him being in my life. He supported that. And I simultaneously did a very similar thing for him. I helped him with his journey to connect to what he was here to do and how he's here to support men. And it's not necessarily that I'm saying like, this is what you need to do, Daryl, this is your path in life. It's more us being in each other's energy, feeling each other's essence. It's an activation into deepening into each other's soul path. And your divine life partner, their goal for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's aligned. Like when me and Daryl talk about the future, when we talk about where we want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it's the same. We know what we want. We know what we're here for, what we're doing. And we recognize that when we come together, both of our soul purposes are expanded. That's what a divine life partner does for you, okay? And so that's what you really want to look at. Does this person add to my soul purpose? Do they make me a better human? And do they support me in becoming the highest version of myself? Because a divine life partner will do that. Karmic relationship, on the other hand, will not do that, and it will potentially distract you from your soul purpose because you're so caught up with all the karmic emotional stuff that can feel quite draining. It's really important for us to be clearing energy around our relationship. So even though Daryl is not a karmic relationship, he is a divine life partner relationship to me, it's still important for me to clear energy around our relationship. When a couple comes together or two people come together, even business partners, friends, they create an energy around the relationship, which is like the aura of the relationship, for example, right? We still need to clear that. It's like the situation or the energetic being that represents the relationship when two people come together. We still need to be clearing that. And you can use a violet flame to do that too. So my recommendation for you, if you want to clear the energy in your relationship, just in general, is to actually call upon the violet flame. Notice and feel if you have, I'll stop right there and say, how do you call upon the violet flame? The easiest way to call upon the violet flame is just say, I now call upon the violet flame. I invoke the violet flame. That's it. If you want to call Saint Germain in, I'd recommend that too. I call upon Saint Germain to work with me and invoke the violet flame to also be here with me for this process. Super easy. Now, if you want to go ahead and clear a relationship working with violet flame, what you want to do is you want to tune in and go, do I feel that I have any cords or energetic attachments here? You always want to cut cords to relationships, right? Cords, and we're talking about etheric cords that drain energy, and it happens, like it's a buildup, it's a natural part of humans and relationships, but it's where we're draining energy or our energy is being drained by these cords. So we always want to cut them, and we can clear them, transmute them with the violet flame. So you can start to visualize yourself with the violet flame coming all over your body and actually beginning to move through and along these cords all the way to the person that you're clearing the relationship to, whether that's your partner, friends, business partner. You see it clearing them, the cord, and you, and eventually the cord dissipating. You have about 5-10 minutes for this, and that's it. Very simple, yet very powerful. And it's really important to be doing this with the most important relationships with your life. It's like a freshen up, right? Now, if you have karmic pattern that is showing up over and over again in your relationships that you need to clear, this is where we got to start working with past lives and bringing the violet flame to specific instances. Now, the way that you can do this, you can start doing this quite easily, is to, for example, visualize the specific scenario. So, for example, let's say like I gave that example before, the abandonment, right? Where someone just abandons you after a while and you're like, how is that possible? Like, I thought we loved each other. You can visualize this issue however you like, but it's like that issue, that cycle, almost like it's a movie screen and you're seeing it in front of you. And then you visualize the violet flame burning through it. And you can say, I invoke now the violet flame to burn through this karmic cycle and burn through any karmic residues around this circumstance and situation. Do that for a few minutes every single day. That's one of the ways that you can use it. Now, working with the violet flame on a continuous basis, it's going to heighten your vibration very, very quickly. Working with the violet flame is also going to support activation of your spiritual gifts, because everything is like fine-tuning. Your energy is fine-tuning. Your energy is getting clearer. All the kind of lower vibrational stuff that you've been carrying for lifetimes sheds off like layers. So for you, for beginning to work with the violet flame every single day, you can be doing processes, and like I'll give you an example of something really easy, is just calling upon the violet flame and then visualize it actually moving around you, almost like this tornado of energy moving around you, and then moving into every single cell of your body and seeing it like this flame that then sparks in your body and moving through each chakra, every single cell, and seeing yourself fully engulfed in this burning fire, right? That's one of the ways. You can figure out what is your favorite way to visualize. I'm also going to have some processes that I will share with you guys, audio processes to go through with this. The other way that you can work with it is actually through verbal affirmations. Now, there are quite a lot. If you Google it, you're going to find a whole bunch of violet flame mantras, decrees, something as simple as, I am a being of violet fire. It'd be that easy. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. Saying that over and over again, it's invoking the energy of the violet flame. So you can do it visualizing, you can do it speaking. Either way is, you can do those. That's perfect. One of the really powerful ways that the violet flame also works is in terms of forgiveness. Now, whenever I have a client going through a forgiveness process, we're always working with the violet flame. Forgiveness is something that I think is very important. I think it's something that if we're struggling to forgive someone, we need to remember that we're forgiving them for our benefit, not for theirs. And when we forgive them, we don't condone them. We might not even be fully releasing all of the anger, right? Because let's say you've been in a situation where you have been seriously hurt by someone, okay? You're going to feel a lot of anger eventually. If it's immediate, it might not be straight away, but eventually you're going to feel a lot of anger. That's perfect. That anger is powerful. That anger is showing you that someone crossed your boundaries, that it wasn't okay what they did, and you actually have to feel that anger. But what we don't want is like a suppression of this anger that's just quietly sitting in your body for an extended amount of time. We want the anger to feel like it can come out, process, move through you, and for you to understand the lesson that anger is trying to show to you, of going, okay, like I see what my soul wanted to learn here, wanted to go through. I've moved through this anger, and I'm absolutely not okay with this ever happening again. That is how we move through anger. And once the anger has dissipated, we can move into forgiveness. It's quite hard if you try and move through forgiveness when the anger is still there. And so I really recommend allowing anger to come through if there's someone you're struggling to forgive. And yes, situations like calling on their energy or visualizing them and talking to them or writing them a letter are some great ways to get that out. And it might take a while. It might take months, like weeks, sometimes even years to process the anger. That's okay. You want to acknowledge the anger. Every time you feel the anger, stop, take a moment, go, anger, I feel you. And sit with it, allow it to move through. We don't want to suppress it. Now, there will come a day where that anger feels so mild. You're like, is it even still there? Or have I shifted through it all? And it's at that point that forgiveness is really good to start to bring in. Now, you can start forgiveness processes at any point, but my recommendation is work through the emotion first and then move into forgiveness. Now, when we do forgiveness processes, it's not saying, I condone what you do, or, I'm letting go of this situation, but it's saying the hold that this situation had on me, I am fully releasing. I am disconnecting myself from it. And I've always had to do forgiveness processes on myself as well. That's important. Like for me, I forgive myself and forgiving other people in situations where there has been an upset. When you're in a place where you want to fully disconnect from a situation and not have it affect your life currently, it's really important that we are doing forgiveness processes. The violet flame can really help with that, and it's something whenever you're saying, like for example, if you were going to do a forgiveness process, let's say there was someone that you, maybe an ex, and you were like, I know I need to forgive you, I've worked through all of the anger, but there's still a little feeling there. You can do a forgiveness process where you call upon their energy and you visualize them there with you, and you say to them, from the bottom of my heart, I forgive you. I'm ready to fully close this situation so it doesn't impact or affect my energy in any way anymore. And we can fully close the doors and close any contracts that are open here. And I forgive you. Then you can work with the violet flame, visualizing around them, around you, and it's going to help clear and shift that situation fully. That's one of the ways you can also work with the violet flame. Now, these are just a few of the ways that you can be working with the violet flame to change your life. My number one recommendation is there'll be a meditation process that I'll share that you can use for the violet flame as well, is to begin to connect the violet flame in your own way for 2 minutes to 5 minutes every single day. Do this for 3 weeks straight. Even let's go 30 days. For 1 month, every single day, you spend a few minutes connecting to the violet flame. Visualize the violet flame clearing every single cell in your body, fully moving through every single cell. You can say, I am a being of violet fire. I am a being of violet fire over and over and again for a couple of minutes, and notice what shifts in your life. It's going to deep clear your energy. It's going to deep clear your life. You can visualize the violet flame moving through your entire house, clearing it, a shield around you, a shield around your house. There's so many ways that you can work with it. To clear your crystals, you can work with the violet flame. Commit to doing this every single day for an entire month, and watch how your life begins to change from that. I hope you've enjoyed the episode today. As a reminder, if you're interested in activating your psychic abilities, I have a free course that's on my website. The information will also be below on where to get that, and you can start activating your psychic gifts and connecting to your spiritual team. Thank you for being here with me today. Blessings.